Hi guys, in this video we are going to use Pandas to make a strategy. Pandas is very powerful tools to build and analyze data, and I think only using Pandas we could build a profitable strategy. So in general, traders should concentrate attention on analyze data using Pandas. So I demonstrate for you some tricks and how we could use it. So let's import a library. So we import a dataset. This library, this is class when we import a dataset, when we could get data from Binance. Also we import NumPy to find some events, and we use vector BT to calculate statistical and make some backtest, and also we use Plotly to build beautiful charts. So let's download data, and we are going to use data for the last 400 data for Bitcoin USDT, and time series would be 6 hours. So let's do a copy of this Pandas data frame, and in this cell we are going to create some simple feature just like predictors, and using these predictors we are going to understand how this predictor and their combination influence on the price. So this hour and number of hour, and because calendar statistics is a very powerful thing, because some big traders, big company has some schedule, some behavior, and we could use this. And we are going to use quantile of percent change of price and volume, because in general I try to use some abnormal situation to understand how it influences the market. Some abnormal situation, this opportunity for trader, and we need to find, for example, how unusual volume influence the price. Next we predict our targets. Let's do it, and I'm going to make 12 targets. Let's see what is okay. And to see it is our data frame, our predictors, and what would be with price expected change after 1 bar, after 2 bar, after 3 bar, and we have those 12 columns, and we have some combination of these predictors and how it influence on the price. Let's analyze it. For example, show you. So we use data, and we're going to group by this data by these columns, like quantity for volume and quantity for price, and we input here target names, and for example we're going to calculate sum. It means some cumulative returns on end period, what happens with period. Let's do it. And you, like trader, should analyze this table to understand what happens with this price. This is our combination, quantity of volume and quantity of price. What happens with price after 1 bar, after 2 bar. This is our statistics. It means cumulative return. And for example, you see if we have some positive returns, and it means if we have CAT volume 0 and CAT's price is 2, and it gives us some good results for trading, and we could use this combination to analyze this data. And also, for example, you should find some big the lowest value, for example, like this. And this situation you could use, for example, for open short or reduce the situation for trades. And if you trade some technical indicators or something, events, you should use this table to understand how this data influence on the price. Okay, because we have historical price and all this data, and we should use this data to improve our trading. So let's do, for example, create some events, and I create signal, and I defined, for example, I would like to see what happens if we have a quantity volume is 1. In general, this is categorical variables, and we have only 5 categorical variables. It means it could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 value. And let's see what happens if we have this events. And you see it means signal for short and signal for buy, and we have legend, and see what happens with some bars. And you see, for example, if we have these events, and the biggest profit for long, if we hold position 8 bar, for example, the biggest risk exists here. In general, we see this channel is expand, and it's normal situation when we hold position several bars. Each bars, if you hold position, we increase risk, and probability of range it also increase. So, for example, let's analyze this data in detail, and also you could use some feature like a filter, and you could get median, for example, or mean value, and you could make some attention that we pay commission on Binance, and we should find some good results with average return. It should be more than commission of Binance. Okay, for example, let's look in a situation. On this situation when we have very good results, and let's build this strategy using those statistics, and I indicate our events that cuts volume would be 0 and cuts price would be 2, and I indicate query for Pandas, and I indicate this we have these events, and I would like to see what happens after 1 bars and after 12 bars, what happens. And also we use change of price for Bitcoin. I mean cumulative returns like benchmark to compare this data. Okay, so you see, for example, if I plot without benchmark, and after 1 bars we have some not good results, but after 12 bars, if we hold this position, we have some impulse. But if we hold 1 bars, some dynamics of profitability of the strategy like on benchmark, but if we hold this position more than 12 bars, we have very good profitability, but we have some big drawdown. But it is another problem to solve, problem to increase profitability and decrease risk. and and you could change of these parameters and to find what happens with our strategy. Let's, for example, delete here and indicate all target names, and you find this situation, and it means if sometimes we have drawdown, very big drawdown from green line. It is when we hold position 3 bars. Maybe it's not good for us, and we should find situation to orange line and hold position is about 12 bars. And you could do research in more detail to understand this data, and this is very good tools to understand this. For example, let's create another statistics. What else? Let's delete it. Not important for us. And I said it before, we have very strong relationship in time. I mean calendar statistics, and we could group by data by quantile price and hours, and let's analyze what happens with these variables in next bar. And you see if we have cuts price, for example, on this value, and when hour is 0, and mostly we have negative results. As using this output, you could make some hypotheses, and you need to check this hypothesis to build a backtest or provide some statistical test. And this is a good start point to analyze this data more deeply. In general, it means if you trade only on long, you should avoid this situation. You should avoid this time when day is become. And in general, when we have this value of cut price, data price is decreased, and we should avoid or short or make short position. But after 6 hours, this means hours for GMT 0 by Greenwich time. This those time when you download data from Binance. This is same data, same time. So, and you see, for example, if we have cuts price, and if we trade on 12 or 8, 18, we have positive statistics. And we need to understand size of these events. It means count of the situation. If we have a small count of the situation, it could be not important for us because we couldn't check hypothesis test because data is very too small, and you need more data. But in this case, for example, when we have hour 0 and cuts price is 2, we have data more than 300. I think it's enough data to build some hypothesis, and we could check it. For example, let's do what else. For example, I would like to test what happens if we have hours 0 and cuts price 2, and what happens after next bar. So I'm testing this situation, what happens. So you see this orange line is benchmark, but if we trade in this time, we couldn't make some good strategy because in this case um, returns is decrease and we haven't any trend. In statistical it means it looks like stationarity time series, but this is an idea. For example, like stationarity of time series, it means we could apply another kind of strategy. I mean strategy like mini reversing. When we have trend, it means from data science points, the situation calls like non-stationarity time series, and we should apply momentum strategy in this case. But this is another topic and explain it maybe next time. So, and for example, what you could use, for example, this cell to analyze some events, and you indicate let's analyze this situation when cuts price is 2 and expect change 1 or 0. Let's change it, and it would like cuts price would be, for example, 2, and data hour would be 0, and we analyze data for next bar. Let's look in what happens, and we should see some decrease of this strategy, and you see we have a negative profit. It means we shouldn't trade on this time. We should avoid this situation, or we should find another situation. Let's look in situation when we have positive returns like 2, but when we have 6 hour. Let's do it, and you see the situation is better. And if we change this back test, so you should retest the situation, and you see in general this strategy is profitable, but we haven't any strong trend of balance line. And another situation how you could test events, we should make some simple method. In this method, for example, we indicate that we have some case and we have some signal, and we indicate that we are going to exit from long after 1 bar, and indicate like it lag, and we are going to return statistics. Let's do it and analyze what happens. And it is very important situation when you have some strategy, you should it analyze by some another events. For example, I go by this data by hour, and I indicate I take quantity of volume. I take signal 2 when quantity volume is 2, and I'm going to exit from this events after 6 bars. And you could analyze with some returns, and you see we have some negative total returns, and it means you should avoid the situation. Let's analyze another situation. For example, why it happens? Because let's cut price. In this case, what we analyze, cuts volumes, cuts price. Let's change some of the statistics, and I would like to see what happens if cuts price is true and I'm open position when we have our 0 and we hold position 6 hour, you could get return is about 47%, but our benchmark is better, it is 52%. But let's do another. You should avoid situation when we have 6 hour to open this position when we have 6 hour and we are going to hold this position 6 hour. Also, you should avoid situation in 80 hour. Okay. So let's delete, and in general I did some review how to analyze events using Pandas and how to create some statistics and how to create a strategy. We have multiply of indicators, and I'm going to analyze some indicators in next time. So thanks for watching this video and see you next time.